Hello, ladies. I'm Lavette Love, of CEO and founder of Love Life Legacy Coaching. If you are joining me now or you are catching the replay, I want to thank you for tuning in. Today, I want to share a quick message with you about becoming more self aware. Awareness is something that a lot of people don't take the time to understand and struggle with. But self awareness is a powerful, powerful tool that we can all benefit from in so many different ways. It allows us to understand the whys behind our behaviors, our feelings, our triggers, and our actions. When you become more self aware, you have the power to not only help yourself through difficult times and issues, but you can also help others that are going through similar things. Being able to identify that emotional root of your problem, it is often key to being able to work through them. So if you can identify it, you can go through it. Here are some tips that I want to share with you about how to become more self-aware. Excuse me. What's first and most important is we have to understand our past. When you've gone through different things, different traumas, different challenges, whether they were at childhood, in your teenage years, maybe in some of your marriages or your relationships, it could be something even at work in your professional career. We tend to not want to talk about it. We bury it. We say we're fine. It's okay. And yes, as Christians, we know that God will fight our battles, but He also gives us wisdom to work on our emotional selves too, right? So understand your past. The things that happen in your past have a huge impact on us in our present. What happened back there is affecting us right here if we didn't deal with it. If we didn't seek some help, some not just prayer, some guidance, some counseling, some journaling, something to get that stuff up in and out of us, out of our hearts, so we can be open to receive and to love again, to experience again, it will hinder us. We got to remember that while that is our past, that past has shaped the person we are. No thought of our own, and it doesn't have to control who we are today, right? I want you to take some time to think about, which it might be difficult, and it's okay. So find some quiet time today or tonight. Grab your journal, some me time. This is some self care time. Find some time where you can think about those struggles and those traumas that you've gone through and how you tend to respond when present situations, those triggers, remind you of them. We can all take lessons on things to avoid from our past and what red flags may arise them. However, we should not assume that every single thing we experience that reminds us of our past is going to end up of the same way, right? We can learn from our past. We don't have to stay in it. The next thing I would share with you is to step back and be objective. Sometimes a situation can make us very emotional and unable to think about the big picture. Am I the only one that's been there? Whenever you feel yourself becoming overwhelmed with emotion and you're frustrated, take a step back, take a minute, and try to see the situation from a different perspective. I'm not saying to look at it from someone else's lens, it's just an outside perspective. Consider the points of view of all involved, all the feelings involved, and the struggles involved, and how that combination of life experiences can add up to that unnecessary tension, right? So if you have, let's just say as you, a couple of your girlfriends, there are different levels of trauma and experiences that you've been through, different levels of challenges. You may not all be aware of what the other person has gone through. And Maybe you all get together once a month, once a quarter. Someone says something that takes you back to a very hurtful time in your past that triggers you. They don't understand what just happened, but you're in your feelings. And because you haven't shared this information, obviously, you're not comfortable enough to explain why and what happened now. So if it's three of you, you all have different backgrounds possibly, but you definitely have different experiences, different perceptions. Does that make sense? This will help you become more compassionate. We have to become a more compassionate group of people. It helps us become more compassionate and ready to quickly come up with compromises instead of getting caught up in that negativity of arguments. Because when you're in your feelings, everybody else is wrong and you're right. When you learn to become more self aware, you will understand yourself and others more easily. When you know why things make you feel the way you do, you can be more at peace with yourself. And isn't it what it's about? That inner peace, that joy, that happiness. And these are things that I'm talking about that are internal, that no one else can give you. No one else can make you happy. No one else can give you peace that surpasses all understanding. And that joy, I often hear women say, and these are my girlfriends, and just women in passing, I'm not with, my spouse because they can't make me happy anymore. I'm not at that job because I'm not happy at it anymore. But do you know no one else is responsible for your happiness and your peace but you? We have to stop giving our power away and giving people too much credit. Okay? So, we can be more at peace with ourselves. We can learn how to react in a healthy way. And that's back to our heart, back to that heart work. If you're having trouble figuring out certain things, it may be helpful for you to speak to a trusted friend or a family member, perhaps a licensed therapist or a licensed counselor. Maybe you need to seek a coach. I'm a life coach, but you need to talk to someone. I want you to remember that you are responsible for becoming more self aware. This is personal development. This falls back under the umbrella of self love and self care. And what I was thinking about is we struggle, and I'm speaking for my people, my culture, my African American sisters and brothers. We often struggle with self care and self love because these are learned behaviors, these are learned lessons. We haven't seen it. So we owe it to ourselves to figure out what that looks like for us in our lives. So I challenge you to become more self aware. I would love for you to comment back on the page just to give me one way that you're going to seek out more self awareness. One way. I look forward to your response. Thank you for listening. Until next time.